Folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. I'm out of the snow. I'm out of Colorado. I'm in Texas. I feel gooder. I'm in Texas. Ain't nothing like Texas to a Texas boy. Hold on a minute. Here at a little bitty old fuel stop. I couldn't help but laughing. Walked down there to see what they had. By parking these places, I try to spend $1 or so with them. So, walked down there. Their grill's already closed. The boy tells me, says, I'll give you them tostadas there. He said, they just came out, dude. They're fresh. I said, all right. He said, I'll give you a deal. All right. What do you call a deal? Well, they're supposed to be $1.25 piece. You can have them for 75 cents. All right, I'll take 6 of them. But I tell you what, they had some hot cheese in them. That's why I had to go ahead and get that Mountain Dew there. Whew. Good kid. Kind of odd. Y'all know by now I'm not racist. This boy is taller than me, and you can tell he has some kind of Asian blood in him. And you don't see that many Asian people that damn tall. That boy was over 6 foot tall. Good kid. We had fun. I was telling you, he can't be 18, 19. And I was teasing him about working and whatnot, and not wanting to work. And, you know, you're thinking about going home. Yeah. I said, you're thinking about home before you got to work. He goes, yeah, no. I said, tell the truth. No, he says, I got to buy parts for my truck. So I have to come here. It was cool. It was cool. We had fun with it. The boy's really up on his PR. And that's where a lot of these places I get to out here, the younger generation, they don't know how to interact with folks. That's part of that damn computer nonsense. And they don't get out and socialize and learn how to be with people. And they hate their job and all that. I mean, that boy was in there cleaning the roller grill, you know, and conversing, holding a conversation. A lot of them can't do that. And a lot of them act like they're mad that they've got a job. Hell, that boy was like, I need to buy a heater core. That's what he told me he was working on. Well, actually, it's done came in. Now he's got, I was teasing him about being here in the morning. They open at 5 a.m. They'll have breakfast ready at 6. And he says, no, I'm usually up by 6. I said, then you're going to come in and buy me breakfast. Well, no, actually, I'll probably be in my garage tearing the heater core out of my truck. But I had fun with him, and I love stuff like that. I really do. That's what I thrive on. That's what I feed off of. And some of these older women that have worked around truck drop stops for years, that know how to engage and play, my wife would just stand back and watch us go at it. I mean, in a good way, you know? It's fun. It's good. But, all right, look, I've got to get serious on you now. I've been getting a lot of feedback off of Make America White Again. Really, folks. I ain't even gonna read some of the stuff in there. I just go off the cuff with you. Look, those that actually watch my video, you know I'm not racist. And well, I hope you know that. Do we live in a racist country? Yes, we do. Do we really want it fixed and racist gone? Evidently not. That'll make you think. And I'll bet you don't either. Just by the comments Go back and read the comment that you left, or read any of the comments on Make America White Again, or does BLM, Black Lives Matter, or when do they matter, whatever I named that one. Our country, our media, our politics, and our social life, and our work life, they are all so wrapped up into race. It just aggravates me to all ends. I want to scream at times. You think you're the only one being discriminated against. And I'll argue that with you all day long. The white privilege and all that, I don't buy into it, and you will not convince me of it, because I have not seen it. Period. A friend of mine that keeps trying to convince me with, I'll show you videos on how whites are treated and how blacks are treated. You got white privilege. No, I don't. When I get stopped, I act decent. If you get stopped and treated bad, it's because of the experience of the people that have been stopped before you. Period. Period. Now, I'm gonna get into it a little deeper. Not real deep, but a little deeper. I'm discriminated against. My son was talking about it today. My son's discriminated against. Him more so than me. Mostly because I'm an old guy. I'm kind of fixed. I'm in my prison cell. Him, he's not. If you stop and think about it, all the paperwork that you do for work, medical, welfare, government, you name it, school, you name it. They ask you your sex, they ask you your age, they ask you your race. Why? They don't need to know none of that. They don't. If you and I are competing for this job, race ain't got a damn thing to do with it. Age ain't got a damn thing to do with it. Sex ain't got a damn thing to do with it. But it's all there for, and we both have to answer. And in today's society, me being a white guy, if you're the black guy, chances are you're going to get the job, even if you're not as qualified as me. And that ain't right. You can't convince me that it's right. And I don't want to hear about racial slavery and blah blah. I don't want to hear that. You and I was not alive during the slavery and all that shit. You and I during the 50s, during that stuff, we was babies if we was even born. I was born in 59. When was you born? And how bad did it affect you? And don't go feeding up my line, my comments with a bunch of boo-hoo, poor me, bullshit stories. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. That was in the 50s. The 60s, we had a bunch of the nonsense. How many of us today really remember it? I was born in 59. 69, I was 10. Now, how much do you honestly remember? Now, tell the truth. How much of what happened to you, if you was even alive in the 60s, really is affecting you today? Now, tell me, if your grandparents were slaves, or great-great-grandparents, or however far back that goes, how in the hell is that affecting you today, and why do you think I owe you money? I don't owe you nothing. Nobody owes you nothing. This is another one I've had discussions with a friend of mine. Oh, But the money that was made off the slaves is still alive today. Yeah, around the world. America is not the only one that ever owned slaves. Slaves goes back to Moses. Remember? I don't want to hear it. Nobody owes you nothing. Period. You think you're being mistreated? Guess what? There are blacks that are being mistreated. There are Mexicans that are being mistreated. There are Asians being mistreated. There are whites being mistreated. All across this country, somebody's getting a shaft about every second of the day. It is not one race that's getting the shaft. And I'm tired of hearing about how the blacks are being beat up on. I don't want to hear it. Alright, we've all heard about the poor kids in Chicago this past weekend. You notice I ain't touched it. I've left it alone. So poor kids, 4 18-year-olds, one of them was like 22 or 23. But, and there's those that's not calling them kids. At 18, you are an adult. Even if you are still at school. So they kidnap a retarded white boy and torture him. Now, I had a conversation with a liberal friend of mine this morning. And I really haven't been touching on this at all. I've posted it a couple of times, but I ain't really touched on it. I try to stay away from it because it really pisses me off. This whole ordeal of what they did and why they did it, in my opinion, is the whole problem of our country. Now we have the race baiters, and they come on both sides of that fence. Don't think they don't. Jesse Jackson and them, they're not the only ones. Oh, Al Sharpton, they're not the only ones. We got the ones on the other side, and no, I don't know their names. Those two I only know because they've been around forever and baiting forever. Me and my liberal friend actually agreed on this. Anyway, he said he agreed with me. I told him that I really don't think that whole kidnapping, and that's what it was, I don't think that kidnapping was racial. I don't think that torturing had anything to do with Donald Trump. I really don't. What I think is it was 4 bored kids that didn't really have anything to do, adolescents, not kids. I need to quit calling them kids. They didn't have nothing else to do. They had not been taught proper right from wrong. They had not had a belt busted on their ass, a switch wore out on them. They had not been taught how to be grown-ups. And they did something this stupid. Should they be paying the price for it? Yes, they should. But I find their parents and overall all of America guilty of what they did. You've heard me say it before that I put a lot of the blame of where our country is on the hippies. The majority of your hippies were white. I mean, like, to my idea, about 90%. I don't know. I wasn't a hippie. Ones we seen on TV were mostly white. The hippies, with all their nonsense, beatnik, you know, the living in communions, free love, you know, lollipop land shit. Well, they got older. they supposedly grew up. That part's still arguable. They started getting into the age where they could make a difference, and they did, and not for the better. Because in the 70s, the late 60s and 70s, that's when our country started getting taken apart. That's when they quit letting us bust kids' ass. That's when they took God out of school. That's when a lot of this stupid nonsense started. And as they got older and got more authority, the stuff got worse. Period. So, I put the blame on them. The only thing that's going to help us now is that they're getting old enough that they're dying. Don't that sound mean? But it's the truth. They're, except in government, I was going to say they're getting out of a bunch of it, but not in our federal government. They want to retire and die up there. That is why Donald Trump did so good, was because people see what a mess we are in. And it's not Obama's fault. Obama basically is my age. He's just a little bit older than me. I mean, really, he's, what, 5 or 6 years older than me? He ain't that much older than me. You know? And the problem that we have goes back way before him. And somebody on one of my comments, they said, oh, everybody blames Obama. Well, first off, no, everybody don't. Obama's had his mistakes. Everybody blames Obama, but if you look real close and open your eyes, you'll see Bush Jr.'s fingerprints all over everything. Well, you might, but I'll bet you one. It's not Bush Jr. and it's not Obama. It's one world order that has been coming in for years. Obama just admitted it here a little bit back, that Trump is the worst thing for one world government. Oh, really? I challenge you to prove to me that it ain't been a one world order since John F. K. got shot. And I think that's why John F. K. got shot, is he was going to prove it. Because he made this statement days before he got shot, that there was things happening in this world that all Americans would be a slave. There's that S word. So yeah, I think one world order goes way back. You can't put none of this on one person. Do I like Obama? No, I didn't. I didn't agree with what a lot of he did. Did I like Bush? No, I didn't. I agreed with more of what he did than I did Obama. I don't trust our government, folks. I haven't. When I was a Marine is when I started learning to not trust my government. Before that, as a youth, as a hillbilly growing up in the Ozark Mountains, I was taught America's great, trust America, except the GI guy. You know, always use caution. If they come knocking on your door saying, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, run. They're lying. Once I got away from home and got in the Corps, I started learning. I got a patch that I used to wear on my jacket when I rode. We don't ride since we lost the sun. It says, love my country, fear my government. It's 100% correct. So the one that says does not play well with others, 100% correct. Had one guy got on one of those two posts, and evidently a truck driver. No, truck driver, I don't have a CB on my truck. I don't want one. Yes, you are correct. I was out here when, and people saying the N-word. Yeah, everybody, nigger this and nigger that. It was stupid. Yes, they was always attacking each other. When I was telling my son about your post, he says, Dad, evidently he's younger than you. He knows them as trolls. He said, so you had trolls on the CB back then. I said, that's about the size of it. Trolls come into your conversation online and they say something really stupid, trying to get a reaction. It was the same thing back then. I could be talking to somebody, having a good conversation, and somebody'd come in with the N-word. Really? But see, it was more than that. Yes, there was racism on there, but there was all kinds of disrespect. There was all kinds of cussing. And I got tired of all of it. My wife came out and I started teaching her how to drive. I don't know, 02, 03, somewhere in there. And if she went to pick up the microphone, she was verbally attacked. And I got tired of it. And after a little while, I just couldn't stand all the cussing and all the race fighting and all the race baiting. It was stupid. So I have no desire to have a CB in here. I doubt that it's got any better. And if you ask for any kind of help on the CB, were you saying it was a tool? It used to be, way back when. Nowadays, it ain't no tool. You can't trust it. If you can't trust it, it's not a tool. It's a toy. I don't need toys in here. So no, I don't have one. Don't want one. I've probably got 10 of them in the garage. I don't want one in here. Why do I want one in here? If I ask you what the weather's doing, you ain't going to tell me the truth. I ask you what my chicken house is doing, you're going to tell me what yours is doing. I'll holler for a bear report. You're texting. I don't want a CB in here. Don't need one. If you want to get rid of racism, it's real simple. Everybody quit answering those questions on the apps and stuff. They don't need to know what race you are, what nationality you are. White or other than white. Really? They don't need to know that. It's supposed to be against the law for them to decide anything based off of race. If that's the case, why do they want to know? It's supposed to be against the law to discriminate because of our age. If it is, then why do they want to know? It's supposed to be against the law for them to discriminate because of sex. Then why do they ask? It's what you need to be asking. Why are you asking this? If it's against the law for you to decide, why is this even on here? Why do we even have these conversations? Why do we need to? We shouldn't need to. But we're doing it because the powers to be play us like a well-tuned fiddle. They know exactly what to do, what buttons to push to keep us up in arms, in anger at each other. Why would they do that? It goes back to one of America's oldest sayings. United we stand. Divided we fall. They want to keep us divided. Now you think that ain't true? Look at the difference in the world since before Vietnam and after Vietnam. Look at the difference. Do a little study. Before Vietnam, World War I, II, Korea, we as a country pulled together. We had that pride. You gonna say something about America? Well, then we got them damn hippies I was talking about. Burning their bras and their draft cards and free love and smoking dope. And don't get me wrong, they did smoke dope well before the hippies. Cocaine's been around forever. But after the hippies came into age, it's been nothing but a distraction. Everything is a distraction. And we've greatly gone downhill since. And they still playing us. White, black, brown, Asian. It don't matter. They're playing all of us against each other. How long are we going to keep letting them do it? When are you going to quit being the black American, the African American, the Chinese American, the Mexican American, the Native American? When are we going to just be Americans? Old boy said that he knew all cops weren't bad and all cops ain't good. True enough. But the cops coming into the black community and just wantonly killing people and all this, it wasn't right. You're right. It ain't. You know what? You're not the only one that has been subject to that. What's the name of that college where they called in the National Guard and shot, what was it, 60 white kids at a college? Oh, I forgot about that one. Had another one where they went onto a reservation, shot a bunch of Indians. Damn it, forgot about that one. Chinatown, San Francisco. If I remember correctly, didn't they have some kind of big old blow up out there? We've all had it. And it ain't right for the powers to be abusive and abuse their powers, period. Period. Then you tell me Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that any other life doesn't matter, that you're just trying to bring attention to your plague. I can understand that. I also understand that your Black Lives Matter got hijacked. Just like whenever you're buying a service, phone service, AT&T, whenever you talk to one of their representatives and you are told something or they do something to your account, you want to hold them accountable. And you're going to hold them accountable because their representative over here said this or did this. So AT&T is accountable for this. Well, when your Black Lives Matter started getting stupid, all of the Black Lives Matters has to take responsibility for it. So, you know, if you've got people that's representing you that's not doing it right, clean your own backyard. And I can tell you a little bit, and no, I don't live in the city. I don't live in the suburbs. All I know is what I've seen in the movies. I've seen on 48 Hours and a bunch of that stuff. Seen on the news and whatnot, and interviews. And from what I see and understand is that when you have issues, you don't cooperate with the law. Really? Where did that mentality come from? I've seen the videos, and so have you, where they're trying to investigate or trying to do something, and it's like they have to fight the whole community. I've seen it where they literally have to physically fight. And yet you're going to holler about it's all the law. No, it's not all the law. Here's a phone call. Alright, folks, I'm back with you. On the phone with the wife quite a while there. Lost track of where I was at on here. I pretty much had my say on it. I think y'all catch a gist of where I'm coming from. I personally do my best not to be racist. I personally think that we all should knock off all the nonsense, and that we should be questioning why our government wishes to divide us up by race. And that's how it all works. Period. As long as we allow them to ask these illegal questions, and they are illegal, if they can't base a decision on these, with these answers to these questions, why are you asking? As long as we allow all this stuff to happen, folks, it's going to keep happening. As long as we allow them to keep separating us, they will separate us. As long as we allow them to race bait us, they're going to race bait us. Just that simple. So that's where I stand on it. Hey, remember, God loves you. So do I. You have a blessed evening.